Welcome into Minnesota Vikings Now. I am Tom. Down here with some post-game news, rumors, and reaction from another disappointing Minnesota loss, this time at the hands of the Los Angeles Rams. The final score in this one, the Rams take down Minnesota 30-23, a game that the Vikings had a very real shot of winning. It seemed like for a while they were hanging around. In the end, a bit of just a rough stretch cost the Vikings against Los Angeles. The ground game for Minnesota, quiet, not really existent. The ground game for the Rams, very much alive. Cooper Kupp stepped up. Minnesota had chances. They had opportunities. They actually threw the ball fairly well in this game, although I will make note that a decent amount of those yards were in part kind of late in the game when they finally opened up the offense. They finish 361 total yards of offense, 295, includes some sacks in there through the air, only 66 on the ground. The killer for this offense, third and fourth downs, 3 of 13. That's terrible. It is really tough to win football games when you are that poor on third down. Now, they were 1 for 1 on fourth down, by the way. You couldn't sustain drives. It's a big reason why they lost to the Rams. Despite their defense overall, did a pretty good job. Yeah, they had a tough time stopping the run. Sony Michel got all the work, or at least way more work than Darrell Henderson, which I think surprised many people. The Rams were good on third and fourth down. They also had 3 turnovers. The Vikings took the football away 3 times against just 1 time they gave it up. Normally, that means you win football games. Was not the case for Minnesota. Despite the takeaways, they come up short against the Rams. Now, the Vikings are still alive in the playoff picture. They are currently a game back of both the Niners and the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Playoff Picture. 5 of the 7 spots have been secured. The Rams, Cowboys, Cardinals have locked up their playoff spots. The Bucs and Packers have secured their divisions. The Cowboys have a chance to clinch that division later on tonight. This loss does hurt Minnesota. Had they won this football game, they would have been 8-7. They would have been in great shape to secure a playoff spot. Now, they might got to win out to make the playoffs, depending on what Philadelphia and San Francisco plus the Saints and Falcons are able to do down the stretch here. So what do you think? Will the Vikings make the playoffs? This is the pinned comment on today's video. Type in Y for yes, they will, and for no, they will not. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is the pinned comment. If the ad break comes, take advantage, head down there. Y for yes and for no. Some injury news now for Minnesota. This is not good. Adam Thielen, he started the game. He was questionable with that ankle injury that cost him 2 straight games. He then re-aggravated that injury during the game. Now, he returned later on, but then also left again, and then, of course, did not return. Not a good sign for Thielen. He clearly wanted to be back out there, wanted to gut through it. I don't know if he's going to be able to play next week or even potentially in Week 18 of the NFL season. So this will be the injury to monitor. Guys like Patrick Peterson, Mackenzie Alexander, Harrison Smith all left the game briefly and then ended up returning. So I'm not really too concerned about those guys at the current moment. But Thielen, that's the one that could be a problem for Minnesota. Speaking of Thielen, his jersey is on sale. If you didn't get what you want for Christmas, hey, we got you guys covered with our friends over at Fanatics. Chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Tons of Vikings jerseys available for you guys to purchase, including Justin Jefferson, who we'll get to in a little bit. He set a nice little record earlier in this game. Even Dalvin Cook, who, of course, got himself COVID and unvaccinated, and yeah, it wasn't great. We'll get to Alexander Madison as part of today's show as well. But for the jerseys themselves, it's a lot more than just these 3 guys. A massive variety available at chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. The link's in the comment section and in the description. Back to the game, right? The Vikings weren't expected to win. That's what the odds said, what Vegas said. They weren't supposed to win this game. But the way this loss went down, the impact it has, it still hurts. Now, I guess at some level, if you expect disappointment, you can never be disappointed. Bonus points for those of you who get that reference right there. But it still hurts for Minnesota. It's a big loss for their playoff expectations, their playoff hopes. Still alive. I also think it raises questions around the future of Mike Zimmer. Because if Minnesota does not make the playoffs, kind of think he's gone. So what do you want to do with Mike Zimmer? Type FZ, that's for fire Zimmer, or type in KZ for keep Zimmer. Head down to the comments section, sound off for me down there. As the team goes, win-loss results, so too does the criticism of the quarterback, fair or not. Kirk Cousins' numbers look okay in this one. 27 of 38, 315 yards, a touchdown interception. The offense moved the ball better when he was there. That's 71% of his passes. And it continues to be the case for Kirk Cousins. And a lot of that kind of came on the final couple drives, and they were trying to rally from down 2 scores. Had a nice 49-play drive, a 75-yard drive when they were down in the fourth quarter. I get that. The interception was brutal, by the way. You can't throw a pick in that scenario, regardless of if there's other blame or not. It always seems like there was just a little bit more needed out of Kirk Cousins to elevate the team to where they need it to be. So what do you think? Is Kirk Cousins the guy? Is he the franchise quarterback, the savior, the guy you can build around for the rest of this current regime and or a potential new one down the road? Type A if you think he is indeed still plan A, or B if it's time to look in a different direction and look at plan B instead. Congrats to Justin Jefferson. Some good news now on this one. He has broken the NFL record for most receiving yards in a player's first 2 seasons. That was previously held by Odell Beckham Jr. Interesting enough, playing against the Vikings. Now, of course, on the LA Rams. Hopefully, the back end, or the more recent end of OBJ's career is not indicative of what Jefferson will go through, and he'll still be in Minnesota in 5 years, unlike Odell Beckham. Jefferson finishes the game with 8 catches for 116 yards. He continues to be a superstar receiver. So type JJ in the comments section to congratulate Justin Jefferson for his individual record. Of course, we want more team results if you're a Vikings fan, but hey, personal ones are still pretty cool. Some more player conversations here. Alexander Madison was not great against the Rams. They really did a great job of stopping the run. 13 carries, 41 yards for Mr. Madison. A touchdown to long of 18. Kirk Cousins ran it 4 times for 17 yards. Kenan Nwangu, 5 for 8. Madison did fine, but I think a lot of this has to do with the trench play more so than individual rushing results. But you do miss Dalvin Cook. Madison, although nice, is not Dalvin Cook. Matthew Stafford gave the Vikings a chance. This one, let's be honest, he didn't play very well. 21 of 37, 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 INTs, completed under 57% of his passes, 3 interceptions. He helped the Vikings stick around in what still ended up being a Rams win, or that clinched a playoff spot for them, and actually several others in the process. So who was the MVP, if there is one, for the Vikings this week? I think there are some defensive players, plus Justin Jefferson we can shout out here, and we will do so in a minute. But I want to hear from you guys first. Pick an MVP, if there is one, in the comments section. Here's my MVP. How about the play from Anthony Barr? Yeah, Harrison Smith had 9 tackles, and Anthony Barr was only tied for 4th in that metric. He also picked off not 1 but 2 passes. He played pretty damn well. That's a good sign if you're trying to have success long term. Now, one game, bit disappointing as well. You are probably upset that your special teams allowed a touchdown, but that's not the defense's fault. Your offense and special teams, I think, are a bit more to blame for the results. This one, you forced 3 turnovers, allow 27 points on defense, not including the 7 from special teams. That should be a win. It was not for Minnesota. Shout out Xavier Woods as well. 8 tackles, an INT. It's always nice when players get interceptions. A nice 15-yard return on that one as well. I know that the points say it was bad for the Vikings defense. 30. Remember, your offense didn't have much success unless you gave them the football in good fields. Yeah, there was that long field goal drive, the long touchdown drive late in the game really hurt you, but the punt return touchdown, that really hurt you as well. So I thought the Vikings defense played pretty well, but the offense was not good enough in special teams. Certainly a big factor in this game as well. The final 2 games, bordering on must-wins for Minnesota for their playoff chances.